The Vegas Golden Knights travel to Utah to take on the hockey club on this WTF edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Chris Gawlik, Chris Kondos here. Kondo stepping in for Tony 2 days in a row as he remains on location scouting the Federal League, looking for some talent for the Vegas Golden Knights. Reminder, you can catch Locked On VGK Monday through Friday anywhere you get your podcasts. Saturdays, you can catch the Chris and Chris Jr., not that Chris, my younger Chris, the younger version of me. Every Saturday morning, that's a YouTube exclusive. Quick reminder, we are brought to you by FanDuel today. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. They paid for that read down there so they can have a graphic, and there we go. Okay, all right. It is Friday. We're recording on a Thursday night. I got a different partner. We got all sorts of weirdness happening, but we will get through this. Golden Knights travel to Utah to take on the hockey club. Speaking of odd things, I'm still not used to calling them the Utah Hockey Club, but we're going to have to go with that. All right, last time the Vegas Golden Knights and Utah played was in Vegas a couple weeks back. It was an up-and-back game. Vegas Golden Knights with a big overtime goal by Brett Howden to give the Vegas Golden Knights a 4-3 victory. Looking at Utah's recent games right now and kind of how things are going. I had it up here a second ago, but I lost it. There we go. All right, so Utah comes off a victory against the Hurricanes, and now they got the Vegas Golden Knights. Kondos, I guess before we dive too deep into this, what are your just general impressions of the artist formerly known as the Arizona Coyotes?
Oh, there goes my over on the half for you saying Coyotes. So that's already in the books. Thank you very much. Now we just got to get to the finish, and I'll get to the window. Utah, very mid-table in the Western Conference, a wild card contender. In the East, not a contender. But they are in the West, and that's where they sit. You still have a lot of excitement, the newness. I think you're going to have energized players. They're not playing in front of 250 former Coyotes fans or whatever was showing up in Tempe last year. So you got to have a little bit of excitement still. Newness is going to wear off, but they're hanging in there. In terms of the numbers, they're really below average, like the key numbers that are coming up. I'll get to it, more of it in a minute.
Yeah, so, I mean, listen, Utah came out of the gun pretty hot. 3 straight wins opening against the Blackhawks, pair of overtime wins. Go on the road, things went a bit south, injuries to some key defensemen, Sean Dursey, I forgot the other one. So from that moment, you started seeing a lot of the goal scoring, going up in a lot of these games. Oddly enough, the Golden Knights drop a game to Carolina where the Golden Knights are competitive, but the Carolina Hurricanes drop a game to the Utah Hockey Club. That was not even on purpose right there. That's two. Peace. So you text me during the day, and you called Utah was going to win that game. Why?
Really, they won for not the reason I thought they would. I just thought that Carolina was up for Vegas, and they were going to have the Utah flu rather than the Vegas flu. And really, Carolina outplayed them the first 2 periods. It was a 1-1 game going into the third, but Carolina, I believe, was up 38-13 in terms of shots on goal. Utah potted 3 in the third, and there you have a 4-1 win. It's very misleading 4-1 win, in my opinion. Carolina had the edge in play well over 40 minutes and had 0 points to show for it.
50 shots on goal for the Carolina Hurricanes. A half-century mark. 50 shots on goal. I don't recall if I've called a 50-shot game unless multiple overtimes were involved. So Carolina went very Pete DeBoer style and just pretty much emptied the clip to do whatever they could, and they couldn't find a way. Looking at some stats really fast, just general perspective for me in the Utah Hockey Club, going back to their Arizona days. I love this roster. As far as a roster of under 25-year-olds, maybe a little bit older now, but just as far as a young roster with nothing but upside, there's so much that can happen for this team. Clayton Keller, obviously, a vet, he's been around for a minute, but 14 points, 16 games. Dylan Gunther, I think this is his sophomore season, if I'm not mistaken. 13 points, 16 games. Nick Schmaltz, obviously, we've heard about him. Shergashev, Logan Cooley, Michael Kesselring, Matthias Michelli, all, even Barrett Hayton for that matter, all younger players who are looking to make name for themselves. And Dylan Gunther might have the highest ceiling of the players just mentioned. Goaltending, not much of a split. Ingram and Vejmelka. Ingram's got 12 games played to Vejmelka's 5. Ingram 3.40 goals against and an 8.79 save percentage, but Vejmelka on the other hand, youngster making a name for himself as well. 2.37 goals against and a 9.26 save percentage. So you got to wonder if at some points it's going to tilt as far as the goalie rotation. Speaking of goalie rotation, there's not much of a goalie rotation in Vegas lately, as Aiden Hill has gone 5 straight games. What do you make of the goalie situation, and do we see a Samsonov make his triumphant return?
Washington's on deck. Who's it coming up? Washington's on deck?
Yeah.
You would think that.
And and Logan Thompson is all but confirmed starting that game as well.
If Samsonov is ready to go and available, I think he goes in Utah. Considering that Hill's on 5 in a row, and I think they want to play against Washington. Just saying, considering how things have kind of gone on that goalie breakup, I think
the Golden Knights really want to make sure the Golden Knight fans know that the right goalie got traded and all of that. Logan Thompson, little blemish last night, 7-0-1 in Logan's words. They played really well, just kind of came apart at the end. We were going back a little bit about it today, but he's excited. He'll be back. They'll be in Vegas sometime on Saturday, and I'm sure he's excited to be back. But in the same breath, he wants to take care of business. And this is a game that both teams have scheduled on Sunday: Vegas Golden Knights, Washington Capitals, and there's not a world that exists where the Golden Knights want Logan to come in and steal the game. Standings updates, Golden Knights back on top in the Pacific, 22 points. Kings, with 2 more games played, are 1 point behind, so the Kings are starting to level off a little bit. Vancouver, 19 points. Gary, 19 points as well. As far as where the Utah Hockey Club sits, 7-6-3, 17 points. Like you said, very middling type of team. They're just kind of hanging out, and as the youngsters are learning their way around. Something I called earlier in the season, if for some reason the Stars were to align in Arizona, like if they were comfortably a playoff team, and the way the Western Conference team, if they were to comfortably become a playoff team in the Western Conference, which the way things are going and the way the West is, it's not that far-fetched. They got a lot of money to work with as far as the salary cap goes, and they could make a splash and go for a rental. Their salary situation changes after Dylan Gunther gets off his rookie contract. I think he goes up to a $7 million AAV or something like that. But point being, the Utah Hockey Club, it's so tough. It just doesn't work. The Utah this is what I get for dogging the Coyotes last year. The Utah Hockey Club has an opportunity to add some key pieces. Now, they can almost do it Golden Knights style when the trade deadline comes. The Golden Knights made some good moves that weren't just about the now. It was about the future as well. Mantha was about the now. Obviously, that didn't work out, and he actually just had season-ending, I think an ACL, so that's unfortunate for Mantha. But obviously, Tomas Hertl, Noah Hannafin both have long contracts to stick around. So curious how things will end up playing out in Utah for the hockey club. Just doesn't sound right.
The hockey club thing just sounds completely unnatural. Doesn't flow. It doesn't make sense. And well, hopefully they can come up with a good team name for next year.
By the time we're comfortable saying hockey club, it'll be the Yetis or Yeti or whatever they're going to do that. That seems like the direction that the Utah Hockey Club, Yeti, Arizona Coyotes are eventually going to go for. So we'll see how that shakes out. Interesting spot for the Golden Knights as they look to get a road winning streak going and keep a road point streak going, right? Victory in Edmonton, overtime loss in Seattle, victory against the Ducks. So this could be road four straight games of of road points for the Vegas Golden Knights. Did I miss anything on my schedule, on my handy schedule here? At Los Angeles, that didn't go too well. So yeah, I mean, look for points in 4 straight road games. And I guess the argument becomes Kondos real fast as we're going a little bit over, but that's okay. Is this a situation where the Golden Knights struggle on the road, or is the narrative more the Golden Knights struggle against better teams?
Well, Utah is in the middle of the pack. This is a good litmus test for where the Knights stand, especially going on the road. Now, where the Knights have the edge, power play. You're talking 32% power play, second in the league behind Winnipeg, which is number 1 in every single category.
Until the playoffs.
Every single category. And Utah, I'm taking a quick peek over here. Penalty kill, 77%, 22nd in the league. It's not that good.
The Golden Knights have a formula right now. Even 5-on-5, win the special teams battle. That's going to get you at least a point in most games right now, the way things are going for the Vegas Golden Knights. So we will see if that happens. And coming up in the second segment, me and Kondo stepping in for Tony will offer our locks of the night and predictions. And then we'll have what the Friday after that. Make sure to stick around. I love a great deal as much as the next guy, but I'm not gonna crawl through a bed of hot coals just to save a few bucks. Has to be easy. No hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. Turns out it really is that easy to get a wireless for $15 per month. The longest part of the process was the time I spent on hold waiting to break up with my old provider. To get started, go to mintmobile.com/lockedonnhl. There, you'll see that right now, all 3-month plans are only $15 a month, including the unlimited plan. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your own phone number along with your existing contacts. Find out how easy it is to switch to Mint Mobile and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/lockedonnhl. That's mintmobile.com/lockedonnhl. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. mintmobile.com/lockedonnhl. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigs on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. We are also brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and bustle and save 50% off gourmet gifts site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code NHL. With 5 generations of experience and consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it's easy to deliver the perfect gifts with thoughtfully curated gift packages starting at $89.99. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NHL and a $30 reward card when you shop early. That's 50% at omahasteaks.com, OMAHA steaks.com, and extra $30 off with promo code NHL. Minimum restrictions apply. Omaha. Yes, there we go. All right, welcome back to this WTF edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Moments like that I miss Tony the most, as he's the expert when it comes to reading off the reads and everything, but we made it through. Just a reminder, Monday through Friday, catch Locked On Vegas Golden Knights anywhere you get your podcast and on YouTube. Saturdays sometimes is the Chris, not that Chris, but the Chris and Chris edition. That is a YouTube exclusive of Locked On VGK. All right, let's kind of dive right into our locks of the night and predictions. I'm actually going to divert to our kind of special guest today, Kondos, and we'll let him go first.
All right. Picks of the night. We got two we got to take, right?
Two goal scorers and a score outcome of the game.
All right, here we go. Score outcome of the game first. I'm waiting for my good friend Lloyd Barbecue to fry me on this one, but no, I'm taking VGK 4-3 winner in Utah. 4-3 winner. Reason being, they're going to get 2 power play goals up in Utah.
What 2 players are going to factor in the outcome for the Golden Knights?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked because Tomas Hertl is going to continue the power play streak. And if you're going to score, you want to score in the kitchen, Barbashev. Those are my 2 picks to score.
Yeah, that was good, dude. Picks of the click. We remember that's where this was originated from. I ripped that off from who were like the crew and everything? Who would they say? It was obviously Hawk, and then who was it before? Was it DJ, right? Hawk and DJ?
It was Hawk and Wimpy, then it was Hawk and DJ, and then it was the crew, and then the fans, and then...
We're talking about the Chicago White Sox, folks. I know, judging by the attendance, no one knows the White Sox even still have a team down there, but they do, believe it or not. Real fast, Kondos. I know this is going to make your spidey sense go up here. Utah's only plus 110 at home. Golden Knights minus 130 on the road. You got 6.5 on the over-under. I think as far as from a betting angle, you're going to watch to see who the goalies are. Samsonov, I don't know. I mean, we're projecting Samsonov. We have no knowledge right now. If it's Vejmelka's looking pretty good. If it's Ingram, he's not looking good. So keep an eye locally for the beat writers to see what goalies might go off, or even Daily Faceoff is a good source for that as well. As far as my locks of the night and prediction, I am going with Alex Holtz. Why? Because I am going to take Alex Holtz to score a goal until he scores a dang goal. Dude is always around the net. He reminds me of Kolesar a couple of years back, where Kolesar actually would generate a lot of scoring chances or find himself in plus situations and just not able to finish. And then obviously Kolesar is figuring that out a little bit better this year. So Alex Holtz is my permanent lock of the night until he scores a goal. And this is about the 4th episode, I think. Brett Howden as well. Brett Howden had the magic last time these 2 teams met. Howden with a real nice, the equivalent to an ankle breaker, I guess, in basketball when he came in on overtime. Forehand, backhand, made the goalie look silly, and had happy humans, Kondos. We had happy humans. So I'm going 4-3. I'm sorry, I'm going 5-4. Pardon me. You said 4-3. I'm going 5-4. Golden Knights. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. I don't think it's going to be, a game that gives you, like, it would be nice if the Golden Knights won this game 6-1, right? But that's probably not the reality here. What can the Golden Knights do in this game, Kondos, besides win the special teams battle? They'll make you think, okay, the Golden Knights, this is a better team than I originally had thought. What do you think the Golden Knights need to do?
The number one thing that the Golden Knights need to do is tighten up their defensive turnovers. That is the biggest thing. We talked about it on yesterday's or earlier today's show, that you have it where you have 2 guys below the goal line passing to each other and nobody comes to help out. Then somebody's going to pass it to the blue line and immediately gets picked off. That's where the Golden Knights, when they're bad and out of sync, the passes are just long passes going nowhere and being turned over. When the Golden Knights are on their game, they're shorter, crisp passes, tape to tape, and you see them in sync. They're a very easy team to determine if they've got it going that night or they don't have it going.
I didn't watch. I don't know if you watched much of the game, but when Carolina lost while getting 50 shots on goal. Did you watch any of that game or no?
I didn't catch any of it.
So are the Golden Knights going to get like 36 shots this game? Is this the type of game where the Golden Knights do that? I feel that when the Golden Knights are spraying and praying and all that, I feel that it's not their strong point. Golden Knights, obviously, of course, special teams, but the transition game. The Golden Knights can win hockey games while being outshot, at a 3-to-4 type of ratio or even a 50% ratio, depending on how things go. But when the Golden Knights are doing well, it's their transition game. It's the stretch passes. It's creating breakaways, creating odd man rushes, or even just speed through the neutral zone and finding ways to score goals. So could be a spot where the Golden Knights only get 18 shots on goal, but find a way to score 4 or 5 goals between special teams and obviously transition situations. So have to see how it all shakes out. But the betting line on the game, going back to that, I don't know how the public's line, it's a little bit early to even factor that, but it's a short price given what happened. Maybe there's a little bit of recency bias for the fact that the Coyotes beat the Hurricanes in a – dang it. I like how you're keeping a ticker down there. How the Utah Hockey Club Yetis beat Carolina despite being outshot by an absolute landslide. So we'll see how it shakes out.
As sure as I was in Vegas this morning in Huntington Beach right now, you will speak of the Coyotes at least 4 times on this show.
Maybe. Yeah, we're not even in the third segment, so right now we're at a push. So I think you're pretty safe. I think you're pretty safe. So, all right, up next we have our What the Friday. That's our weekly feature. Do not go away. We're also brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more all on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join. Today you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Welcome back to Locked On VGK. It's Friday. It's the third segment of the show. That means it's What the Friday. I will bat lead off on one thing real fast. Brendan Brisson, dude's on a milk carton. Getting passed over by a lot of players. Ronbjerg, Brisson. I know there's waiver implications and obviously the number of games players play. Someone mentioned that Brisson might have suffered an injury last Saturday playing in Cal, Gary, against the Wranglers. So I'm not sure about that, but point is Brisson not necessarily developing. However you want to put it, injury or not right now, Brisson not developing. How much longer does Brisson remain with the Vegas Golden Knights? Does he make it to the end of the season? I don't know. So WTF, I'll pass it along to our guest of the show, Chris Kondos.
All right, we're going right to the top of the standings. Winnipeg Jets. They just won in New York 6-3. So sorry, Tony. Jets went in. They beat the Rangers too, right in the Garden. Not rigged. They won 6-3. Coach Scott Arniel, who took over this year, and he's a long time. He coached in Columbus quite a long time ago, and nobody really succeeded in Columbus, so it doesn't even count. Was an assistant for a while. Now he got a shot in Winnipeg, and here we go. We talked about it at the beginning of the season. We talked about banking points in a tough Central Division and a tough Western Conference. No. You have 6 teams in the conference that are plus goal differential. You said in the Eastern Conference, yes. What the Friday?
I put up a poll on the 12th, so it was a couple days ago. It was probably right after the Hurricanes game. Can the Golden Knights be competitive against good teams? And feel free to add context as to why you voted. Listen, I know most of my followers are in Vegas. I knew exactly what I was setting myself up for, but out of 173 votes, obviously a huge sample size, over 71% feel the Golden Knights can be competitive against good teams. And, there's a lot to consider with that statement. I know it's kind of a loaded question, but point being is a lot of the people that were defending it, it's all these what ifs. Well, if Stone comes back, well, Stone's not back right now. If this happens, well, that person's injured. If the goaltending gets better, well, the goaltending hasn't been that good. So point being is not really a big WTF, but a minor WTF. I don't think the fans have a pulse on the Vegas Golden Knights this year, at least not early on. There's not been much that we've seen to indicate that the Golden Knights are going to be competitive against better teams. Go back to Carolina. Utah is a mid team. We'll see how the Golden Knights handle that situation. Anaheim, terrible team, terrible statistically, terrible to watch. Apparently the folks in Southern California agree because there was like 12 people there in the stands. There was less people there than for a Henderson Silver Knights game, if that tells you anything. So the Golden Knights didn't exactly run away with that game, did they? I mean, it was a 3-2 win, 3-1 most of the game, a little bit of a collapse, but a couple posts, and that outcome could have been different. So WTF to this lopsided poll that obviously was rigged. There you go. I had to get that in there for the bingo card. I got some WTF comments from Twitter. People confused Kondos because you're here. Did Tony get deported? Blue team bad. That was good. T.A. Neiman, always in my corner. WTF to all the people bashing LT for one overtime loss to the Leafs. The dude is 7-0-1. He's doing great. Let the poor man enjoy being on the Caps. I'll add the WTF right there. UNLV SD, lack of energy in the arena and in front on the arena pregame. Noticeably different from previous seasons. Now, to be fair, didn't say VGK, but I'm pretty sure that is a shot at the VGK situation. A couple more on YouTube here. Slap Shot 61. Is Tony day-to-day or week-to-week? And then Gary Adrian has been commenting a lot. Upper body injury, quotation, brain. That's pretty good. Arnie, was Tony traded to the Rangers? Gary says, no one with glasses, so we don't get to see the two little bright spots in front of Tony's screen. Gary, you're watching the show way too closely, and God, do we greatly appreciate it. And Gary also appreciated a lot of Charmin quote from CK as the way he wrote that.
I don't know who that could be.
We know Gary Adrian? Who's Gary?
No, I'm talking about saying CK. Don't know who would say Charmin.
Oh, yeah. No, I got a good feeling.
Yeah,
I got a good feeling. And Paul Roberts said, good practice game for the Golden Knights. Keep working on puck control. That wasn't a practice game. That wasn't a practice game against Anaheim. Anaheim was in that game most of the way. A 2-goal victory or 2-goal lead in the NHL is nothing. A 3-goal lead in the NHL right now is even nothing. We've seen the Golden Knights cough up multi-goal lead deficits or they've coughed up multi-goal leads and climbed the multi-goal deficit at least once this season. So, yeah. You got anything else?
One more WTF.
Yeah. Take us home.
All right, let's talk about attendance in the NHL. As of the 12th, so just a couple days ago. Okay. Number one in attendance in terms of percentage, believe it or not, still remains VGK, 102. So they're above capacity. So people still have their tickets. Are they showing up? Is it the Formula One race? Whatever it is, but that's the sideswipe. The real point is who's not showing up. Now you have teams such as San Jose, Anaheim, the Dregs, Buffalo, all the teams that have been poor for quite a while. You expect those fans, there's a correlation between success and attendance. Vegas, they've had a good run of success. Here's a team that is doing very well and not showing up. Winnipeg. Winnipeg is not drawing 90% capacity. Winnipeg better be careful because you have the greatest start in NHL history. You're number one everywhere across the board. If those fans don't start showing back up, that might be the Atlanta Thrashers for the second time. They better watch it. That is really disappointed. The other one, the Islanders. They got a new building. They're not drawing 90% capacity either.
Where do the Jets play? They play in the Canada Life Center. Okay.
It's downtown Winnipeg. I walked past it this summer when it was the Ask Me Anything.
Canada Life Center hockey.
Capacity is just a shade over 15,000. I believe it's the smallest arena capacity in the league, but they're just drawing 13.
15,321 for hockey. Mm-hmm. Average physical attendance 13,764. And not much competition for the hockey dollar in Winnipeg, is there? As far as what's around there?
There is nothing else besides the Canadian football team, the Blue Bombers.
Okay, so fair enough. No. Fair enough. Even Anaheim, they're listed at 15,552 for the pond. I remember it was a good story last year for Anaheim. They were about 90% occupancy for most of the season last year. And I don't know what 15-5 represents in Anaheim. But back to the Golden Knights, Kondo, some traffic around T-Mobile sucks. It sucks. Me and Allie, my daughter, went to the game on Monday. We left Henderson like at 5:55 for a 7 p.m. game. We got off at the airport tunnel probably by about 6:18, 6:20. You know, I drive pretty fast. Maybe a little bit sooner. We get to the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard in Tropicana to make that right turn. Dead stop. That's where the F1 construction starts, with what's happening farther down in front of our old stomping grounds, Planet Hollywood and everything. Mm. And then you make the turn, and it's just terrible because no one can direct traffic. So it's basically, call it 24 minutes from Henderson to the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana, and 26 minutes from there to get in. That's unfortunate.
That's in line with last year.
It's a little, well, with F1, yes, with the F1 side of it. Without F1, you cut that second part of that in half about.
Oh, sure.
Which is not bad. Definitely spoiled from our Chicago days going down to the United Center, to say the least. Or just walking from our old stomping grounds as well, which is actually a lot of fun. A few drinks on the way, a little video poker, and we'll call it a night. But there are a lot of empty seats. And although I will say the Carolina game, I didn't notice as many empty seats with worse traffic and a Monday night. So as we go a little long here, just kind of putting a bow on things here, as time goes on, the road visitors, it's going to lessen. Vegas will become just another team to a degree as far as another destination. But for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I want to go to Vegas to see my team. I got to go to Vegas to see my Sabres, my Sharks, my Red Wings, insert team here. Okay, I did that. Now let's go somewhere else maybe. And that's when the shift happens. And you wonder if the Golden Knights can capitalize on the locals to continue to put butts in the seats. And I think they'll figure it out. And as long as the Golden Knights are winning, it's not going to hurt. But a time will come, it'll get a little bit tougher, and it'll be fun to see how the Golden Knights, the business side, adapts to that challenge.
Not much else to add on there. I think VGK has always been really good at marketing. They've been really good at their product. I mean, their pregame goes for about 14 hours before the game starts. So, I mean, yeah. They going down and watching the warm-ups, that's a great experience. You really can't pass that up. And they were the first team in the market. First to market usually has the advantage.
For sure. And obviously that's paved the way for all sorts of professional sports in this town and more championships and maybe NBA down the line. Athletics seem like that's happening, but until they start actually building that stadium, we'll see. Tony's got a better pulse on that than I do.
Yeah. Right. Last thing before we go, these two teams, if the Athletics do come, the other two team and the other team that's in town, they're making Vegas look even better. They're showing you what a professionally run franchise looks like.
Yeah, listen, the Raiders, it just takes a minute to look. And I mean, look at what's happening on the field. There's been off the field issues. And the Athletics, I mean, you hope the owner kind of is like a kid in a candy shop, but I don't think that's how he got his money. So, yeah, exactly. All right, that's going to do it for this week of Locked On VGK. Kondos appearing in 40% of the episodes, Tony 60%. We'll see how that works out next.
He's day-to-day.
Day-to-day. No, day-to-day, which means we'll see him about 3 weeks then if we're going to use VGK.
Maybe still heartbroken that Vegas Bjorn didn't get that empty netter for him.
I love it. All right, thanks for checking out Locked On VGK. Remember, you can catch us Monday through Friday anywhere you get your podcast and on YouTube, sometimes on Saturdays. The Chris and Not That Chris show, me and my son Christopher, that's a YouTube exclusive. For myself, for Kondos, and for Tony, who's scouting the Federal League, thank you very much for hanging in with us on Friday with Locked On VGK, and please take care.